Hello and welcome to episode 142 of the So Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we will be talking about it. Today we are recording on August 2nd, 2019. If you forgot to pay your rent yesterday, this is a reminder that your rent is due, everybody. My name is Corey Motley. I am a podcast producer. I am a co-host of the show, and I'm an occasional writer at GameCritics.com. I'm 50% of the show. If you're wondering who the other 50% is, it is my partner in crime, Brad Galloway. He is the co-host here and the editor of GameCritics.com. How are you, Brad?
I am doing good because I actually did pay my rent today, so I'm fine. But thank you for that reminder. It's very necessary.
I used to, when I was in college, I had a friend, I was on the drum line in college, and one of the friends that was on the line with me, every first of every month, he would post his Facebook status, and he would say, like, oh, today is August 1st, make sure to pay your rent, everybody. And I thought it was so funny, and now, I don't know, I guess I'm, like, passing that on to everybody that's listening to the show.
That was very conscientious of him. What a nice guy. And I got to be honest, there have been a couple months when it just plain slipped my mind. So I think I'm definitely one of the people who would benefit from a reminder.
Well, here I am to remind you, I suppose.
Excelente. Well, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing pretty well. I don't think I have any housekeeping this week. Do you have any housekeeping or updates or anything?
I've got no housekeeping or updates, but I am happy to say that we are back to a fairly regular schedule. So we just got done recording Banter. We skipped it last week because we were really short on time. And again, apologies to everybody who missed the Banter last week. But we're back, and I got to say, it was Banter with a vengeance, wouldn't you say?
It was. I'm not going to say exactly what we talked about, but I just want to say this. I thought I was going to have the most traumatic story for Banter, but Brad just came in and one-upped me like the bastard he is. So if you want to hear a couple of ridiculous, traumatizing stories, I don't mean seriously traumatizing, by the way, everybody, slightly, then feel free to listen on after the show.
Yeah, it's kind of a thrill ride this weekend. So if you're a Banter person, don't miss it this weekend. But other than that, I'm ready to talk about some games, man.
Excellent. I am too. And because I am hosting this week, I will give you first shot at discussing games. So what do you want to bring to the show first?
So polite of you, such a gentleman. Thank you very much. I just a couple of really quick hits. I don't have a lot to say about either one, but in one I'm contractually obligated to say something, and the other one I just wanted to mention it. So the one that I have to mention is called 39 Days to Mars. I brought this up a million years ago because it is an indie 2-player game. It's a 2D kind of a puzzle game where you play as two like English gentlemen back in like the age of discovery or whatever, and it's kind of like a Jules Verne sort of a, kind of that vibe, like old Victorian, back in the day when they thought they could like build a rocket to the moon in their backyard, and the moon was like a face with a mustache on it and a monocle or something like that, that kind of weird sensibility. So these two English gentlemen decide that they're going to build a ship and go to Mars to hunt the animals that are in space. And they do that, and along the way there are a bunch of puzzles to solve. And the hook of the game is that it's a co-op game. That's really what drew me to it in the beginning, because I was looking for something to play with my son, and this looked like might be a good idea. When I talked about it on the show last time, it was a major anti-hit with my son. He actually fucking hated it, and he did not want to play it anymore. So I put it on pause for a while, and I told everybody at that time I would come back to it. So here I am. I came back to it on my own. You can play it by yourself. If you do play it by yourself, the second player is replaced by a cat, which I thought was kind of cute. So you're basically just doing these 2-player puzzles on your own. And instead of having a second player, you do one person with your left hand and one person with your right hand. And so you have to kind of like ambidextrously juggle those functions as you go through the puzzles. And all the puzzles are very different. Like, in one, you're trying to have this winch that has a little hook attached to it, and you're trying to pick up a key. So, like, one hand is, like, pulling the winch sideways. The other hand is pulling the winch, like, up and down. Kind of like a claw machine sort of a thing. There's one where you're connecting wires to a switchboard in order to get a number to light up. And so one hand is holding one end of a wire. The other hand is holding the other end of a wire. And, of course, you would be doing this with a partner, so I'm guessing the basic idea is that, you know, you would be communicating and saying, you know, no, not that one, or no, this other one, or go higher here, or go lower here, or whatever, something like that. That was the part that was really frustrating because it's very fiddly. It's not just a matter of get the strategy and go. It's also about be very careful about what you're doing because the whole game is really easy to fuck up, and it's really easy for one person to just be a little bit off, and then that'll throw the other person off, and then the whole thing gets screwed. You got to start over. Really fiddly game. Honestly, a little bit too fiddly, I think. So I went back into it with the full intention of finishing it and talking about it. But I got to say, the further I got into it, and I got further by myself, I just really didn't like it. The puzzles, as I said, very fiddly, very confusing. Like, they don't tell you what to do, and so half of the puzzle is just figuring out what you're supposed to do. Like, what are the rules of each puzzle? Each puzzle is, like, slightly different. And it's not, like, a fun kind of a discovery. It's just like, nothing's going on. What am I doing? Maybe if I push this button, something will happen. No, what about this button? Oh, okay, this did something. And then, like 9 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I figured it out. But it wasn't like a big light bulb came on, or like it's not like it's even really that fun to do. Like the figuring out process is not a really fun process for me. So games that really like to do that are not really my jam. But beyond that, I probably would have just powered through and finished it because I think the aesthetics are kind of cute. But the problem is that there's not much content to this game. I've had people tell me it's maybe like 3 hours long, and I bailed at about an hour and a half, so I was only about halfway through it. But they repeated puzzles way too often, and it just felt like ridiculous padding. So these are English gentlemen, and at one point you're like doing a puzzle, and then you finish that one, you go to the next one, he's like, oh, I can't do the next puzzle, I need a cup of tea. Okay, you're English, I get it. I see what you're doing there. So you go to get some tea, and making the tea is a puzzle. So it's like, oh, you have to balance the milk and pour the milk in. And just the simple act of pouring the milk is like difficult because you're trying to do it with two hands and it's all physics weird and janky and stuff. So you make the tea, he drinks the tea, that's great. Go back and do the puzzle. He does the puzzle. You go on to the next puzzle. Oh, I can't do this puzzle. Like, I have another cup of tea. And I'm like, I just made you a cup of tea, motherfucker. Like, how many cups of motherfucking tea are you going to have? Like, and there was a long stretch where he would like have to have a cup of tea or a scone in between each puzzle. And the tea and the scone was a puzzle unto itself. And they're just the exact same puzzles over. Like, it's not anything new. You are simply repeating the exact same steps you did last time. And it was funny the first like couple times. And then it just got really insulting and boring. And I was like, don't waste my fucking time, because that's all you're doing is wasting my time. But I powered through that. But the part where I bailed was you get to this puzzle where they do like a Morse code. And I'm like, okay, everybody knows what Morse code is, but nobody knows Morse code. Like, everybody knows SOS. That's all anybody knows. So this little hint tip pops up and it's like, oh, if you don't know Morse code, go to the library of the ship and read the book. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I went to read it, and it gives you the whole code. And I assumed, like, once I read that book, the code would be, like, displayed on the screen for my reference.
No.
Nope. You got to remember it, motherfucker, or write it down. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm not writing down the entirety of Morse code to figure out this fucking puzzle when you could very easily put it up here on the screen for me, or put it in a menu where I could push a button and show it. And I'm like, I did a couple letters, and I'm like, fuck this. This is a complete waste of my time. This is like insulting to me as a player that you're making me fucking do this. This is stupid. And so I bailed on it. And I just stopped. I just didn't want to waste any more time. So I think it's really cute in terms of visuals. I think it's a cute idea. Like these, these Victorian English gentlemen making a ship to Mars is kind of a kooky idea that I'm kind of down with. But man, not enough content. The puzzles are super fiddly. It's really annoying to play with a second player. And just, I feel like it's full of like, it's a tiny game, and it's still full of fluff, even as a tiny game, which is a problem. They should have just made some more puzzles and made better puzzles. So anyway, that was 39 Days to Mars. My contractual obligation is now fulfilled. I don't have to talk about it anymore. Didn't finish it. Will probably never finish it. Thoughts, hopes, dreams, ideas, Corey?
My first thought, which is slightly unrelated to the game itself, is the fact that every once in a while someone will say a word that I remember is wonderful that I need to like try to rework into my vocabulary. And you said fiddly like 7 times during that monologue, and fiddly is such a great word, and it doesn't get enough love, and I don't say it enough. So maybe I'll try to work that into my vocabulary a little bit. And second of all, this game sounds like this weird like cross between. I do this every goddamn time you bring a game up.
It's your thing.
It seems like a weird cross between like whenever you're talking about like the simple act of like making the tea or the scones or like doing these weird kind of like offshoot puzzles. It sounds like the kind of thing that I would expect to see in a VR game where it's like you're playing VR, and like, oh, if you were playing just like a regular side scroller or like a regular adventure game, like this wouldn't necessarily be a puzzle, but because you're in VR, we're gonna like turn it into this weird thing where you have to like pick up the coffee cup with one controller and pick up the tea and put it on the stove or whatever. And it also sounds like it's a cross between like that and also like with some of the stuff you're saying is really sending me like almost like old school survival horror feels where like, you know, in like old Resident Evil where it's like, oh, if you want to unlock this door, you have to like push these 4 bookcases around and then this statue across the room and then press these 8 switches in this order and then the door unlocks. And it just like, I mean, there's like a time and place for stuff like that, but I don't think the game you're playing is the time and place for either of those things, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, you're not far off. It doesn't feel like Resident Evil, but I think conceptually you're dead on, where they take something that should be very simple and then make it really complicated, and then that complication is like the gameplay, which I sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think for me personally, it generally doesn't work, and I don't think that it works here. I mean, it was goofy enough, but it just got really kind of annoying. And you are correct about like VR, you know, taking some simple thing and then the act of doing that simple thing is the thing you're supposed to do. I mean, like making a cup of tea in any other game, it would be like push B and you make a cup of tea. But in here, it's like use both of your hands and lift the tea and don't spill it because the tea is spilling and the milk follows physics. And then if that thing is not in the right cup, then it's wrong. And then you got to get an ice cube and then put the ice cube. Yeah, I was just like, oh, fuck, okay. Like doing it one time was fine. Doing it 5 times, not fine. So anyway, I don't recommend that game. Really, I don't think. I think it's a really. I think I like it better as an idea than I do like it in practice. So that was kind of a downer. Another thing that I thought I was going to like and I ended up not liking was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Have you played either of the first 2, or do you know about Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
I have not. I want to say several. God, it feels like decades ago. I might have played like a demo for one of them because these are like correct me if I'm wrong, I know you will, but like slightly isometric, like multiplayer sort of third-person Marvel action games. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, it's basically like Diablo, but with Marvel characters.
Okay.
Kind of doing like dungeons. It's like the top-down isometric dungeon crawler sort of a thing. I think they originally debuted, I want to say on 360, and they were multiplayer at the time. I really liked the first one a lot back then. And I thought the second one, I mean, my memory of it is kind of hazy because it was so long ago and I haven't played them since. I remember number 2, like being like not quite as good, but still, you know, like, okay, whatever. And I think I played both of them with a wife. I'm pretty sure I did. So I was like, oh, okay, I could do like a top-down Marvel. I love Marvel, and I generally like, you know, these kind of top-down games. I'm down for that. This is a Switch exclusive. And the thing that really like threw me for a fucking loop is it's developed by Team fucking Ninja.
No way.
Yes way. And I'm like, why? Why is Team Ninja making this game? This makes no sense. What do they have to do with top-down Doom-like or Diablo-like games? None of this makes sense to me at all. I have no idea how they ended up doing this game.
Can I guess what they did with this game? Like,
please do.
Did they? Okay, so this is this is not really a guess, but it is a guess.
Whatever you're about to say, it's wrong, but go ahead.
I'm gonna guess that they took this game, and the only character you can play as is Black Widow. But instead of writing her like the bad bitch that she is, they made her like this tiny anime girl that has like daddy issues through the entire game and has to ask for like Iron Man's approval before she does anything in order to not get herself killed. Did they Metroid this game like they did that game?
I see what you did there. That is a very good callback. I approve of that callback to the execrable Metroid Other M, which was, oh god,
that game was so bad.
Rancid horseshit. No, they didn't do that, unfortunately. That was a good joke, though. I appreciate you took that shot. So I guess my main question with Marvel Ultimate Alliance is, I mean, literally, if you've played, I keep wanting to say Doom, but I mean to say Diablo. Diablo. It's just, I don't know if times have changed or if this is just a bad game. I mean, my first inclination is to say this is a bad game, but then I remembered really liking the other ones, or at least the first one back in the day, and I'm like, well, was I just a more innocent gamer back then? Was I less jaded? Is this literally the same game, and I just don't like it now because 12 years have passed since then? Or like, is this just not a good iteration of it? I mean, it's hard to say, but I think I'm kind of leaning towards this is not a good iteration of it, because I have played other games like this, which I think are fun. This one just is not very fun. And what you basically do is you take a team of 4 Marvel characters. There's a bunch in the game. You have to unlock them as you go. And then you just do these top-down levels where you just button mash your way through. Like a million little random goons come up. You just button mash them. There's a couple special moves. And then like that's kind of like all there is to it. You unlock, like I said, you unlock more characters as you go. And like each character, you know, there's little variations between them, but they all kind of feel more or less the same. Like I didn't really feel like any of them were like especially much better than any other one. Some were melee, some had projectile attacks, but that was like the biggest difference. And the graphics were like really small on the Switch, like whether I was on the TV or handheld, it just was really fucking hard to tell what was going on. Like just way too much stuff on the screen. You know, Iron Man is apparently supposed to be doing some kind of cool laser beam while he's flying around, and I can't really tell. Like it just looks like a bunch of stuff going, just happening, just explosions and people moving around and just like a big mishmash on the screen. And on top of that, like, it just seemed like really grindy. Each character starts with 1 power, and I think they have a total of 4. And like the very first thing is like, oh, you know, reach level 10 before you get to your second power. And I'm like, you only gave me 1 power. Like this is boring. Like I'm doing 1 power for however long. And unless I'm mistaken, it looks like you have to level up each individual character. So like if you level up your favorite team, that's fine, I guess, if you're not bored of it. But then let's say you want to swap out somebody, that person has to be leveled up separately. So it's like, man, no, dude, like that does no. I bailed on it really fast. I think I put maybe like an hour into it. I got to these puzzles that were really fucking annoying because it was just like push a button and this gate opens and you go through that gate and push another button and another gate opens. And it was just really fucking boring and stupid. And I was already like not feeling the game at that point. So I was like, forget it. So I don't have real in-depth criticisms of it. I just really negative first impressions. So like, this is not a review. This is not me passing like final judgment on it. I've had some people pop into my feed and say, oh, it gets better later. And I'm like, okay, I don't believe you, but that's fine. I just really just didn't want any part of this game. And I was honestly very excited for it. I almost bought it at full price, dude. I was very excited for it. And I held off, and I'm glad that I did. Gamefly came in, sponsored by Gamefly. Not really sponsored by Gamefly. And after about 30 minutes or so, I did not want to play anymore. So a whiff for me. I'm really glad I didn't pay for it. Very glad I didn't pay for it. And thank you to Gamefly for saving me that $60.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this has been Ultimate Alliance 3 has been like a pretty like long awaited entry in the franchise. Is that right?
Yeah, it's been delayed a few times, but this one got people excited. I mean, anybody like me who remembered the first 2 has pretty positive memories of those games. I mean, I don't know if our brains are playing tricks on us or what, but this one was pretty hyped up. Like, they gave it a real big push. I believe Nintendo's publishing it. And, I mean, it's a full $60 game, so it's not just like a bargain title or anything. I mean, they're already talking about, like, seasons and having, like, tons of DLC and new characters and stuff. But, man, I just can't see putting any time into this. It just feels so boring, you know? And I liked Diablo. It's not like I'm against those kind of games. I think those kind of games are fun when you get a good one, but this one just did not click with me. So maybe my brain is kind of making my memories of the first one better than it was, or maybe just times have changed. Maybe this one is just not a good game. I don't know, but I bounced off this one real hard. So I will not be coming back to it, and I would not recommend it.
That is too bad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I'm just glad I didn't pay the money for it. So anyway, those are my 2 quick hits. Let's switch over to you, Corey. We're going to be talking about another Switch game, Doom 3.
Yeah, so I have a confession to make. There is another game I wanted to talk about, but I knew that if I brought it back to the show, you would just somehow find a way to punch through my computer monitor into my face from your computer in Seattle.
What were you going to bring up again?
I started playing Prey again.
Oh my god! God
Let me explain, Brad. Let me explain. So I finished System Shock 2, and I was like, you know, I want to go back and try Prey because there's a lot of similarities there. And so I started playing it on the PlayStation 4, and I was like in the middle of a New Game Plus that I'd started like a while ago. And I got maybe like 75% of the way through it, and I probably started at like the 40% mark or so. And then I thought to myself that very night that I was playing it, I thought to myself, you know, it would be really great to try this game on PC, but it's never, I mean, it's never on a good sale on PC. It'll go like half off and be like $30, but I'm not going to pay $30 for a game that I already own on a system. But sometimes I do this, as I've said before with PC games on the show. Like, you know, I bought Deus Ex again on the PC, so like the Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, because it's just a new and interesting way to play it, and they also look better on PC or on my PC.
I know how you are. I know the Corey Motley shit. I know how you get. I know this.
And then, I kid you not, that very night, I open up my computer, I log into Steam, because every once in a while I'll just open Steam and see if anything on my wish list is on sale. And would you believe it if I told you that Prey was on the deluxe edition of Prey that has Prey Moon Crash, which is the roguelike thing that is just okay. And they have a, like, apparently some kind of, like, VR thing that's PC only, which I have not played, but I'll bring that to the show later. That whole deluxe edition pack was on sale for, like, $8. So I jumped on it. I know. I jumped on it immediately, and I bought it. And I have been, I mean, before I went to MechaCon, I barely have played anything since I got back to MechaCon, because I was just busting my ass all weekend there, and I didn't really have time to do anything. But like the week prior to MechaCon, I just fell right back into it. I just started playing Prey, sat at my computer for hours on end, and started a brand new game, and playing it with mouse and keyboard controls, because that game is a little more intense. It's probably one of the more like quicker paced games I've played with mouse and keyboard controls, but I've gotten a grasp on it, so I'm able to do it pretty well. And it looks better on my PC than it does on the PlayStation 4, which is a little bit surprising, but it looks good. But I don't have anything else to say about it other than it's amazing, and I think it secretly might be one of my favorite games of all time without me realizing it. But I'm not here to talk about Prey, because I've talked about it like 18
But we are
times.
not here to talk. We're not here to talk about Prey.
We just
talked about
5
Prey.
minutes talking about Prey, but I'm not
But
here
we're
to
not
talk
here.
about Prey.
Not here. Okay, so we're not here to talk about Prey. What are we here to talk about, Corey?
We're here to talk about Doom 3, because I did not realize this, but I kind of treat the Switch the same way I do the PC, where every once in a while, I mean, if I'm not playing anything currently, I'll just like turn it on. I'll browse the store to see what's new. I'll see if anything on my wish list is on sale, because I'm always looking for new stuff to play on the Switch and the PC and every system for that matter. And I open up the Switch, and I didn't realize that id/Bethesda is kind of like slowly, I guess it's like the 20 or 25th anniversary of the original Doom, and they've been bringing the old Doom games to the Switch, and they didn't really seem to publicize this, or maybe I was just so busy that I wasn't paying attention. And so I saw Doom and Doom 2, and to be frank, I'd never played those. My entry into the Doom universe was actually Doom 64, which wasn't developed by id, but I thought that it was still wonderful, and maybe I thought it was wonderful because I had no prior experience with Doom. So Doom 64 like really did it for me. And I did see I think it was like a Game Informer article the other day that said that apparently Doom 64 has gotten like rated in Europe or something, so like they think that they're going to bring it to consoles or do like an HD port or something like that, which would be fucking rad because I love Doom 64. But I was browsing, they put Doom and Doom 2 on the Switch, and then I scrolled down a little further, and I saw Doom 3, and I feel like Doom 3 is one of those games that, like, you either really love it or you really hate it, because Doom 3 debuted on the Xbox and PS2 era, I want to say, and it kind of, like, set a different tone for the Doom universe than the previous games had, because everything working up to that had been a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more silly, a little bit more like over the top in its violence, very true to Doom 2016. But Doom 3 did a slightly like slower, darker, creepier. I mean, I wouldn't call it survival horror per se, because it still is like, you know, it has the monster closets, there's like imps running around the hallways, like shooting their fireball hand things at you, but it's just like has a slightly different flavor than the other Dooms. It's more like I don't know, just feels a little colder, a little more like mechanical and darker and, you know, dingier, I guess. But I really liked Doom 3, and I played it way back on the Xbox. I think I rented the BFG edition, which is like the HD re-up that came out on, I think on it was either the 360 era or the PS4 era, and I played it then, and it was only $10 on the Switch, and I thought, okay, like I can I remember this game fondly, so I will sink, $10 into this game that I know because God damn it, the only thing I use my Switch for is to play games that I already own. It's just like my PC. All I do is buy games that I already own over and over again on it, and I don't know what my problem is, but it's just
you need like one of those little cards where you get 10 punches and you get a free Subway at the end of it.
Yeah, it's like, all right, the 10th time you buy Deus Ex Human Revolution, here's your free soda or your free like whatever.
Here's your free copy of Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Yeah, here it is. And so I think it's just like with the PC, it's the idea of acclimating mouse and keyboard controls and having it look better. And for Switch, it's the idea of like having it portable and being able to like play it in bed or if I'm like in a car or something. So, there's definite advantages. Like I would never buy like Doom 3 on like the PlayStation 4 and then like buy it on the Xbox One because it would be the exact same experience.
Right.
But I wanted, so I wanted to play it on Switch. And to be honest, I haven't played it that much. I played maybe like an hour or two. I've only played it in a couple sittings. And for some reason, with the Switch, I don't know if it's me thinking that Nintendo is this like technologically inferior company because for so long they were kind of like behind the curve on like graphics and on processing power. But for some reason, I always think about like what games I think like can and can't exist on the Switch. So like when I saw Doom 3, like Doom 3 is fucking old and I saw it on the Switch store and like the first thought that came to my head was like, oh, the Switch can run Doom 3? Like what is this, like 1997? Like what am I thinking? And then I always go back to thinking about like Doom 2016 is on the Switch. So like if the Switch can run Doom 2016, it can run fucking anything. So like why am I surprised that Doom 3 from like, I don't know, 2004 or whatever is on the Switch, and like Resident Evil 4 is on the Switch, and they're bringing Resident Evil 5 and 6 to the Switch. So like I don't know why I feel like I'm so stuck up about like, ooh, Doom 3, I'm so surprised it can run on the Switch. Like I need to just get my head out of my ass and just start playing these games instead of being stupid about them.
Well, let's be fair to you, Corey. Let's be fair to you, because I don't think you're wrong for thinking that. I think that these games can run, but if they're available in other places, I think the real question is like where do you want it, and like what level of quality are you prepared to accept for it? Because I mean, I'm sure that the new Doom runs. I mean, people have told me it runs really well on the Switch, but it doesn't look its best. I mean, people have said you're trading off portability and convenience for like better graphics or a little bit more horses under the hood. And it's funny you mentioned this too, because I just tweeted about this the other day. I bought a game on Switch because it was on super duper sale, called Planet Alpha, and I liked it and I thought it was pretty good. I'm not going to talk about it now, but like I didn't realize at the time half of the enjoyment of that game is like the lush backgrounds and how artistic they are. And so I played it on the Switch and I'm like, this just doesn't really look that great. And I went to YouTube and I looked it up on PS4 and I'm like, oh, it looks way better on PS4. So it runs, it plays just fine, but I don't think it's where it's best. So maybe that's really like, in fairness to you, like it can run stuff. I think the Switch can run stuff, but I don't think it's best at doing stuff like that. I would bet there's probably some sacrifices, not for a game like Doom 3, which is older, but certainly on something newer. So I don't think you're wrong to think that.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better because I feel kind of like a jerk for thinking that. And I'm totally in line with your thinking about like, obviously if I wanted to play the best version of like Doom 2016 available, I'd probably play it on, I mean, I'm sure like PC, the elite PC race would say to play it on PC, but I don't think I could. That game is so fast and so like ferocious that I don't think I would survive very long on mouse and keyboard controls on it. So like the PS4 would probably be my go-to. But you do trade off things. Like it doesn't look as good on the Switch, but it still plays well. Like I played Doom 2016 on Switch and I thought it was wonderful. I had a very good time with it. But again, we're not here to talk about Doom 2016. We're not here to talk about Prey. We're not here to talk about Doom 2016. We're going to talk about Doom.
What are we here to talk about? I don't even know anymore.
We're not talking about anything. I'm just going to leave, and you can just talk for the rest of the show, and then it can be over with. So, I mean, honestly, I don't have a lot to say about Doom 3 on the Switch because I've only played it for about an hour to 2 hours. But I will say that it is completely faithful to Doom 3. So if you played it before, or maybe even if you haven't played it and you have a Switch and you're looking for like a place to play it, because honestly, it's probably not easy to find on modern consoles right now. I mean, I would definitely give it a shot. I like this trend that Nintendo seems to be really spearheading on the Switch right now of like old games that maybe you don't expect to come to Switch. Like I was scrolling through the store the other day, and I saw like Saints Row the Third on Switch, and I was like, whoa, like my favorite Saints Row, like what is that doing over here? And like none of the other Saints Rows are on the Switch, like just the third one. It's like they handpicked it because they knew it was my favorite one to bring to the Switch. And so like I hope we keep finding like this trend of like weird like games that you just really don't expect to come to Switch to get there. I would really like, obviously, for Deus Ex Human Revolution to come to Switch because it would be a perfect fit for that console, but I don't know if it'll ever happen. Probably not. But I mean, Doom 3 is good. It feels nice. It feels faithful to the original. It has some of the BFG edition upgrades where you can have the flashlight and your gun ready at the same time, because I know that was a big deal when Doom 3 originally came out. You could only have your flashlight active or your gun active. You couldn't have them both active at the same time, which I think at the time was meant to lend more of like a scary, slow pace to it, but it really just was kind of irritating because Doom 3 is very dark. There's a lot of shadows, not a lot of light on that station on Mars, but now you can do both of them at the same time. And it feels good. Like, I feel like I'm just talking in circles right now. Like, I don't really know what to say. It's faithful to the original. It feels nice on Switch. It still, like, looks all right for its time. I'm impressed with it so far. I'm going to keep playing it, and I guess I give it, like, a thumbs up. It's nice. I like it.
A couple of things. I'm glad you mentioned the flashlight gun thing, because I actually have played Doom 3 all the way through, and I actually really liked it back then. I think that was before I lost my taste for scary games. I thought it was pretty good. I even went back and played like all. They released, I think, at least one or two pieces of DLC, which were like more missions, and I think you like went to hell or you went to the moon or something.
Oh yeah,
or
those are on the Switch version too. Just
so it's the total package. Okay,
yeah,
good.
The total package.
I mean, my question was going to be about the flashlight thing. I was like, they must have kept the flashlight thing, because maybe people don't remember, but when Doom 3 first came out, it was like you could hold your gun or your flashlight, but not both. And so like I guess they thought that was going to be a fun game mechanic. Yeah, spoiler, everybody fucking hated it. So, like, and also, the first thing people said was, duct tape, hello. Like, could you not tape your flashlight to your gun?
Brad, they don't have duct tape on Mars. Come on, man, get with it.
Yeah, we can go to Mars and set up this, like, Mars colony, but no one's got fucking duct tape anywhere. Give me a fucking break.
You have, like, a plasma rifle, but you don't have duct tape.
I know, right? We can open a dimensional rift, but we don't have duct tape. So.
This is like video games in a nutshell right here.
It's like the darkest timeline we're in right now. Everything is exactly the same about a universe, but no duct tape. How would that affect the course of human history? So that's good. I mean, I liked it back then. I don't know if I would like it now, but I had a pretty good time with it, and I liked it enough to do the DLC. So I will never play it again, but I do have fond memories. So it's curious that they brought it to the Switch, and I'm glad to see it. The only other thing that really came up for me when you were talking is like Saints Row the Third is your favorite one. What?
Yeah.
How is that your favorite one?
Because it's the best one, motherfucker.
Oh my god! It is so not the best one.
It is the best one.
It is not the best one. Okay,
yeah.
We're not here to talk about Saints Row the Third, but I'm going to write this down. I'm writing this down. You are not off the hook, young man. We are going to discuss this when your father comes home.
All right, it's a deal.
Oh my god, Saints Row the Third. Okay. Let's move on. Quick shout out to World War Z. Have you seen the movie or know anything about the game, Corey? I played it on a PS2, but it's on all the systems. World War Z, what do you know?
I know that it's a book about a zombie apocalypse that focuses on vignettes of characters, and it's not so much about the zombies, I don't think, as it is about the characters. I haven't read it, so I could be wrong here. But my friend Justin, who lives in Seattle, who probably doesn't listen to the show, but if you are for some reason, hello, Justin, I miss you. He read it, and he really loved it. The movie was about Brad Pitt fighting zombies or some shit. Apparently, the movie was not that similar to the books, because instead of focusing on a bunch of different characters, it was just Brad Pitt, like, I guess, climbing a bunch of zombies to get to a helicopter or something. I don't know. That was a movie poster, I think. The other thing that's interesting, I think the most fascinating thing about World War Z is the fact that it was directed by Mark Forrester, who directed Quantum of Solace, the second Daniel Craig James Bond movie, which I think is criminally underrated. I think Quantum of Solace is great. And I didn't realize that he directed World War Z until way after the fact. I reckon I've seen the game advertised on the PlayStation Store, but I don't really know anything about it. Is it like a co-op zombie? Is it like a Left 4 Dead type thing? Is that what's happening here?
That is literally. Thank you for summing that up, because I think you kind of hit on all of the relevant topics that I was going to bring up. So you had a pretty good understanding of it, despite the fact that you had not played it.
Yeah, I pretend like I don't, but really I know everything inside and out.
Kudos to you, sir. Yes, I did read the book of World War Z. I did not see the movie. But yeah, you're right. The property focuses on a worldwide zombie epidemic, and in the book they talk about different countries. Like they'll be like, oh, we're in China for like one chapter. Oh, we're in Russia for one chapter. We're in America for one chapter. And they talk about different, how each country kind of deals with the zombie outbreak and like what each area, the peculiarities of it, what it would be, and how, it was a pretty good book. It was much different than I thought it was going to be. I have not seen the movie, but the movie took a very different spin from people that I have talked to, not only in focusing just on Brad Pitt and his crew, but also the zombies were like way different in that movie. Like, I think that the zombies are kind of known for not only being fast zombies, but like being in such large numbers that they kind of swarmed and like climbed over each other to kind of like climb up a building. Like if a person was on the roof, like zombies would go to the building, and then zombies would like stand on their shoulders, and then other zombies would like crawl on top of those zombies, and they would do like a little, like an insectile, you see like army ants do this or something, or you see bugs do this sometimes, where like they just like literally fill the gap with their own bodies and then just crawl over to get to where they need to go. That was like the big hook of those zombies from that movie. So World War Z, the game, is a combination of both of those things. It takes the faster zombies and the climbing, swarmy, insectile zombies and merges those with vignettes around the globe. And honestly, I think it does turn out pretty well because also, like you mentioned, feels a lot like Left 4 Dead. So Left 4 Dead, it's been a while. It's been a while since Left 4 Dead had its moment. I mean, did you play it? Do you have any memories of Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, I played both of them. I think I own the first one on Xbox 360. One thing I liked about them is that they were split screen games. So I think I played couch co-op with Patrick at the time. I liked the Left 4 Dead games, but I feel like when they came out, everybody was kind of in that mode of like, oh, anything that Valve makes is like the best thing in the world. And I was like, yeah, it's like pretty good, but like it's just like a zombie shooter, guys. Like, let's calm down a little bit here. But it is good for what it is.
Yeah, I played it with the wife, and I had fun going through it. Like, I thought it was good. I mean, I thought it was good.
I had fun, going through
question mark, yeah. I mean, I thought it was good, but I didn't flip for it. Like, I know some people who thought it was like the best game in the world when it came out. And it was okay, but like it was basically just like four friends running through some levels, killing zombies at a really quick pace. And there were some AI tricks going on where the game would kind of like adjust itself and like throw more or less enemies at you, or throw like a super zombie at you, like depending on, like it was going to try to always get you in these gotcha moments. And I mean, I don't know that I necessarily felt that when I was playing the game. It just kind of felt like each level was just running around really quickly and shooting zombies, but it was good with friends. Not something that I would play by myself, but good with friends. So World War Z definitely capitalizes on the same thing. It feels like a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead to me, which is fine, which is good. I played it in co-op with the wife all the way through, but you can play up to 4 people, and you can play with randos if you want to. I don't believe there is any trolling. I don't believe there is friendly fire, but I don't think it's to the point of where you got to be worried about people like ganking you. Like, I think it's like everybody is a team. And if you don't work together, then nobody wins. So there's not really a lot of incentive to troll anybody. I did play with some randos, and I had a fine time. I didn't have any problems, and I thought it was all well and good. But basically, you have 4 different levels. There's like Tokyo, Jerusalem, someplace in Russia, probably Moscow, and a place in America. I think it was New York. Each location has a different group of 4 survivors. So you're getting to know different people in each part of the map. And you basically just go through and shoot a million zombies and do team co-op shooting and help each other out, revive each other if somebody gets downed, get each other's back when you're going through. I mean, it's pretty standard, pretty much like what you'd expect, but it's pretty well done. Like, I had a pretty good time with it. Part of the reason is that the levels are interesting. Each level feels different than the last, and they don't really rely on a lot of tropes. Like, sometimes you're in a really wide open area, sometimes you're in a small area, sometimes you've got some verticality going on. Sometimes you're defending a point that's real easy to defend. Sometimes you're defending a point that's really hard to defend. Sometimes you're escorting something that's moving. Sometimes you're, like you got like a random scattering of mission objectives. And I felt like it kept things fresh enough that I didn't feel like I was doing the same thing every level. I mean, obviously you're shooting zombies every level, but I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was playing the same map like 12 times, if you know what I mean. Which is good. I didn't think the Russia maps were very good, but the rest of them I thought were great. The Japan map was great. The New York map was great. You go in the subway for a little while, and then like you're out in a hotel for 1 minute, and you're outside, and like they do a really good job with the environmental design, and especially in Jerusalem, there's one part where you can like see over the desert, and it's pretty wide open there. And there's just like this like ocean of zombies coming over the hill, and I'm just like, oh my god, that like it looks amazing, but at the same time, like it was horrifying, and it was really cool effect. So I like the environments. The environments feel fresh. You have different classes that you can change up. I think I focused on like a gun user. The wife was like a healer, but there's also like people that focus on melee, people that focus on explosives, people that focus on I don't know, whatever else you would do in a zombie apocalypse. I don't even know. But it was pretty well done, and you can also work to unlock some backstories. Not a big thing, but it was kind of appreciated, where once you finished a level with one character, you could kind of see like where they came from or what happened to them or how they got into zombie apocalypse. It's it's totally not a reason to buy the game, but it was just a little perk that I thought was kind of a neat thing. So overall, if you have at least one friend, I would say play it with one friend. I would not say play it by yourself unless you're down with playing with randos all the time. If so, go for it. But if you want to play with friends, play this with at least one friend, and AI fills in pretty good for the other two. And it's just a lot of just really fast-paced, really well done zombie combat and some interesting looking levels. And it just delivers the right amount of like action so you can play it and feel like you're playing something exciting, but it's not super difficult. It's not super complicated. And I just had a pretty good time when we wanted to shut our brain off and just shoot a million things. So I feel like if that is what you were after, World War Z is a good time.
I'm sorry if I missed this during your monologue. Does this have split screen, or did you play it on two different consoles with your wife?
I believe it is not split screen. We played it on two different consoles. My wife and I each have our own PS4 because we are both hardcore gamers. And so we played it in the same room as each other. So we were able to, communicate without requiring a headset or something like that. But yeah, she played on her screen. I played on mine. And then we co-opted like that. And we could have had two randos join us. We did not do that. We just had the AI fill in, and I thought the AI did a pretty respectable job. So
that's awfully nice of the AI to do that for you.
I agree, and honestly, I'm appreciative that it's possible for even one player to play this. You could play it with 3 AIs if you want, and I think the fact that the developers gave you that option is great, because I think a lot of developers would have been like, "Nah, fuck you. You need some friends because that's how we're rolling." Because it's not easy to develop really good AI. I know it's a challenge, and I think they did a pretty good job here. A lot of developers skip that part, and I just don't appreciate it. So I like the fact that they let you play by yourself. That's really cool. But yeah, it's not it's not going to be something that you're going to be writing home about. I'm probably not going to remember I even played it in a year, but for like 2 weekends, I thought it was really good high octane action, and we enjoyed going through it. We went through the whole level. We're not going to go through and like get more experience to like unlock more skills or anything. We just played it once. But if they put out more levels, I would totally play more levels. Like if they put out a DLC pack with a couple more cities, I would totally be down for that. So that says something that I'd be willing to come back to it. Overall, definitely a thumbs up.
Well, as soon as you said the kind of game that is good in the moment, but that you won't remember like a year from now, I immediately thought of another co-op game. I was a big fan for a single weekend of the Army of Two games. I felt very similarly about those. Like they're very fun at the time, but I don't really think about them after the fact.
Oh man, me and the wife went through all of the Army of Two games. I think there's 3 total. The third one is hot garbage. It's terrible. But the first 2 we really had fun with, and it's exactly right. It's not the kind of thing that you got to remember 6 months after you played it. It's it's not even really that great of a game. Like it's just
it's the Division effect right now. Like
totally, dude. Totally. Like it's fun when you're playing it, and as soon as you put it down, you're like, you don't even remember that you even played it. But in the moment, if you have a friend, I love the Army of Two games. I wish they would bring it back and like really, really double down on the teamwork stuff. Like have more mechanics for that. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing, like with World War Z. Really fun when you're playing it. Come back to it, no problem. But like, you finish the missions, and then like the next weekend, you've totally forgotten you played it. But those games need to exist. Like they can't all be, this life-changing, memorable thing that you replay every 6 months. I mean, it's okay to have a filler game, and I don't mean to say that in a derogatory way. I mean, not every game is like a AAA Gold Star award-winning game, but that's okay. Like, it's fun. I still had fun. I thought it was good. So hopefully developers don't feel disrespected. I'm totally not trying to disrespect them at all. I had a good time with it, even though I forgot it like 2 weeks after I played it. But still a good game. Still a good game.
Well, you liked it enough to bring it to the show, so that's good news.
Absolutely. I did like it very much. So let's talk about another game that we like. Oh, I'm kicking myself because I meant to play this before we got to the show, and I just didn't have the time. But you played the brand new Hitman Siberia Sniper Challenge map, which I will probably play tonight. Very interested to get your take on it. Please, sir, do tell.
Yes, so as if we haven't talked about Hitman enough on this show, I am bringing it back for the 47th time, perhaps.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
That was a terrible joke. But yeah, they just released a new Hitman map. So the last time we talked about Hitman, they had released a normal map, which was the bank heist in New York. Very similar setup to a lot of other Hitman missions. You're in a big level, a lot of different hallways, different disguises, objectives, whatever. Play it how you want. But this week, they released a new Sniper Challenge map. And Sniper Challenges are the missions where 47 is perched up on some cliff somewhere. You do not physically walk him around a room, but you do have a sniper rifle with, I think it's 3 different levels of magnification on the scope. There's a lot of stuff going down at whatever place you are in front of you. It's almost like looking at like an ant farm or something. And there's like a couple of targets to kill, but there's also civilians and bodyguards that you have to kill. I mean, you don't kill the civilians, but the bodyguards you kill, or kill as many as you can. And there's like always like fun, silly stuff you can do in the level. Like if you shoot this alarm, it'll trigger that, or something strange. I like the Hitman Sniper Challenge missions, and now we have a new one. It's in Siberia. So the last one was on a dock in, I think it was Hong Kong, I want to say.
Yeah.
And this one is in Siberia. It's at a prison, and as you might imagine with Siberia, it is very snowy. It's very white, very cold looking outside. It's a very kind of gross, very industrial, kind of stone and steel type prison. You have 2 people you're assigned to assassinate. One of them, I think, is the warden of the prison, and the other one is a guy who's been in this prison for, like, decades, and he kind of looks like Juggernaut from X-Men. He's just, like, this big, muscular dude with all these tattoos, and today is the day that he's getting released from prison, and you're there to assassinate the warden and assassinate him, because if he gets released, apparently it's going to cause some, like, political, firestorm or something for wherever he's going back to. I think he's Russian or something. But it's very similar. Like, I feel very like similarly to how I did with Doom 3 here, where I don't really have a ton I can say. Like, it's a new Hitman sniper mission. I played it. I mean, it's very good. They're all good, but I played it like 6 or 7 times back to back, like a night or 2 ago. I mean, if I didn't like it, I probably would have played it once and gotten out of there. But it has, it has the 2 targets. I think there's 10 or 20 bodyguards. There are prison guards that you're not supposed to kill. There are like the specialized bodyguards, and then there are the prison guards. You're not supposed to kill the prison guards, or else you can get penalized. And one of the objectives is actually to cause a riot in the police yard. So you can do certain things that you can like unlock a door, and then all the captive people in the prison like start rioting and start fighting the guards, and it turns into like a big thing, and you're supposed to use it as a cover in order to assassinate the other guys. But it's pretty good. It's a good setup. It has a time limit like the rest of them. I think it's like a 10-minute time limit. So it's just fun to experiment with different things. Like you shoot this thing, and I don't want to spoil anything, but like you shoot one thing, and then, it triggers like a whole different scenario for both the targets to do something. So it's really fun just to experiment with what's going on. And even if you fuck it up and don't win or don't kill all the targets before they get out, it's only like a 10-minute time limit. So it's not like you're playing it for an hour and then fuck it up. The thing that I both understand but dislike about the sniper challenge missions is that if you kill someone and somebody sees the person die, or somebody sees the dead body later, if you don't hide the body, because you can like shoot people through windows to hide them, or in this level you can shoot them into these like giant piles of snow, which is pretty hilarious, in order to conceal their bodies. If somebody sees a dead body, basically the base goes on lockdown, and this is true of every sniper challenge mission, and then all of the bodyguards and all the targets start like running for the exits, and you're supposed to shoot them while they're moving because they don't really stop running. And so the shitty thing is that if they're running, if either of the targets gets out, then you fail the mission immediately. And it's super hard to kill a running person with a sniper rifle. Like, it's definitely not one of the easier things to do. So that's a little bit frustrating. But then again, like, you can only blame yourself if something goes wrong in a situation like that most of the time. But I like this. I mean, it's good. It's just another level. It's not like a standout. I don't think it's as good as the Hong Kong docks, but I think it's pretty good anyway. Like, it's not amazing, but it's up there. And I guess that's that. I feel like I don't have anything really bright to say about this other than there's a new map and it's good enough, and I played it like 7 times and that's it.
It's hard to talk about these, but I do enjoy them. Although I gotta say, like, I would play like 100 of these in a row if there actually existed 100. I mean, there's only like, I think 4 total if you count the one that they ported over from iOS or whatever. So there's not many of them, but like, I mean, this kind of speaks to our difference as Hitman players, where I don't really want to play Hitman the levels like over and over and over and over. Like, I'll do it like, once and then maybe twice if I thought it was great. But I just I have a good time going through them, playing kind of like loosey-goosey like I do. I mean, we talked about this a million times in the show where you're very careful, meticulous. I like to run and gun and just whatever happens, happens. And I just, we both have fun in our each individual way. The same thing with this. Like, I play this... I haven't played this one, but I played the Hong Kong one, I think maybe 2 weeks ago for the first time. And I thought it was really fun. I love sniping people in Hitman. I think it's a really cool thing. I wish you did more of it. I wish it was more integrated into the campaign. I wish they gave you more opportunities to snipe. But after I did it like once, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, I shot him. I don't want to do anything else. But I find it really difficult to figure out what all the tricks are. Like, if you shoot this thing, then this other thing happens. I find it just, my brain just doesn't work that way. I just don't put those things together. And I find it really difficult to be able to, quote unquote, hide a body when you're sniping from like a mile away. I'm not really clear on like how that works, and I'm very unsuccessful at it. So I'll try for a few times and I'm like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm killing everybody. It doesn't matter. So I just start shooting people and then I walk. I wish they would walk you through it a little bit more, like give you a little bit more hand holding, because I really would like to maybe squeeze a little bit more out of these levels, but I just get kind of frustrated and I want them to show me like how to do it properly. I mean, I guess I could probably like find a YouTube Let's Play or something, but I wish something in the game would be like, yeah, if you like, this counts as hiding a body, this doesn't, or, just a little bit more help, because I find it a little hard to be very successful at these. I think they're really fun as hell. I like them. And like I said, I would play like 100 of these. If you put 100 on a disc and sold it to me, I would totally buy that and play it. And I would think it was fun. I would love it. But I'm terrible at these. I'm always like, on my friend's leaderboard, I am always like the last person, and I have, no aspirations to get any higher. So anyway, all right, cool. One last game, unless you want any final words on Hitman, or should we move on?
I don't think so. I think we can move on.
Okay, one final game, and then we're going to wrap it up. Bringing to the table Fission Superstar X. That's Fission, as in atoms splitting, not as in casting your lure into a lake and looking for bass. That would be a totally different Fission game. No, this is Fission Superstar X.
I see what you did there.
See what I did there? I went for it.
They should make a Fishing Superstar X game.
I mean, maybe there is. There probably is. I haven't looked it up. I'll check later.
I hope so.
This is a 2D roguelike, so I'm back on my shit. Doing another roguelike. You know me and roguelikes.
I'm just gonna put my headphones down and walk away right now.
Just go start making dinner or something. Yeah, you don't need to be here for this. It is a 2D roguelike where you play a scientist who has created a nuclear bomb that he is in love with, and he thinks of it as like a lady, and he wants his lady to perform all across the universe.
Ew.
And so
first of all, ew. That's gross.
Not perform, but like put on a concert, you sicko. God.
Ew. No, I mean, just like that predatory idea just seems gross to me.
I mean, he's a mad scientist. He's not a good guy. He's kind of a villain. So I think it's, you should be feeling kind of ooh about it, which is appropriate. So you are a clone, and he builds a spaceship, and he straps the bomb to the spaceship. The bomb is like enormous, and you fly the ship, and he's like out past the furthest reaches of like, Pluto or whatever. And so you need to pilot the ship from the outer reaches all the way to Earth. He wants it to get to Earth, and then he wants to blow it up. So that's the plan. You pilot the ship in a 2D way. So what happens is your pilot will... There's a gun on each side of the ship. There's a gun on the top, there's a gun on the bottom, gun on the front, and a gun on the back. So you can shoot in 4 directions. And each gun can cover, about a quarter of the screen, more or less. And so the pilot shoots, I think, the top gun. And there's nobody else in the ship, so you're vulnerable from the front and the back and the bottom. So as you go along in your mission, you can eventually, you shoot a couple guys, then you get a little pit stop. And with your pit stop, you can be like, would you like to recruit someone? Would you like to fix your ship? Would you like to buy a new gun or something? You have a couple of options. And so you want to, recruit guys ASAP because you want one person on each gun immediately. Because the further you get, more enemies are approaching you. It becomes kind of like a 2D shooter where enemy ships will come at you from the top and the bottom and the side and all over the place. And you've got to maneuver yourself to, have at least one gun pointing at them at all times and trying to also hit the weak spots of the enemies that are approaching you. Sometimes ships will come up to you, they have a lot of armor in the front, but they're really weak in the back, so you've got to maneuver yourself around, and this is all happening in real time. Maneuver yourself around to shoot them in their weak spot, or sometimes it'll be a really tough ship that's got a small cockpit, and if you can maneuver yourself so that you can fire straight into the cockpit, then you can shoot that pilot. And so it's like a mix between 2D shoot 'em ups and roguelike, because if you die, of course, the game is over. And as you go, you collect more money, you can get more guns, you can get different pilots that have different skills. And ideally, you want to, beef up your ship strong enough that you can make it to Earth and then blow it up. And that would be winning the game. I really like this game a lot. It doesn't explain very much at the beginning, but I did some experimenting, kind of poked around. I talked to AJ Small, who is one of the writers at Game Critics. You may know him as Badger Commander on Twitter. He reviewed the game for us, and he really liked it a lot, so I checked it out on his recommendation, and he wasn't wrong. It's a very good game. It's really hard, though. It's really, really hard, and I say that as someone who has a lot of experience with roguelikes. Not only is it hard to manage, because sometimes you can only choose one thing, do I want to heal my pilot, or do I want to fix my ship? You need to do both, but you can only choose one. So money is pretty tight in that game for a while, so you can't buy the best upgrades right away. That's kind of tough. And also, if you die, nothing really carries forward, which is really disappointing. I think this game would be 1,000,000,000 billion % improved if you could actually either carry money over, or if you could permanently unlock better guns, so that maybe after 5 failed runs, you could start with a +1 gun or something. That would at least give you the incentive to where if you weren't winning, if you just kept at it, you would eventually get better and better or better equipment so that you could get further and further. As it stands, nothing carries over, so you just have to tough it out each time, which I think is setting the bar a little bit too high. I have gotten to the second planet, so not Pluto, but Neptune, and there's still all the other planets to get to, and I have not made it past that. So this game is really difficult. Too hard, I think. I think it's too hard. But I really like it. The art is really cute and got a lot of personality to it. I think playing the game, just in the levels, shooting and kind of maneuvering your ship and having to negotiate between those 4 guns is a really cool thing. I think it's a neat idea. Having the bomb is kind of a neat idea. I mean, it's a very cool game. I like basically everything about it, except for it's just a little bit too hard. I feel like I'm probably never going to finish it. And I went to check with AJ, who reviewed it. He did not finish it either. So I think the bar is set a little bit too high. And in fact, I emailed the PR rep, and I'm like, hey, FYI, I'm going to talk about this game on the show. I really like it a lot. I definitely recommend it to roguelike fans, but I think the developers are making this too hard. And he's like, yeah, they're going to address it in a patch in the future. So who knows? Maybe they'll fix it. Maybe they won't. I can't say for sure. In its current incarnation, I still really like it. I'm doing 1 or 2 runs a day, but I got to be honest with you, I'm not really getting much further. I'm getting a little bit further, but not a lot further. And I kind of wish progress was coming a little bit faster. So if the developers are listening, I love your game. I think you did a great job, but you got to dial that difficulty back a little bit. Give us some progression. Give us something that stays after you lose a run. You got to give me hope that I can get there eventually. And right now I'm kind of losing hope, which is not a good place for a game to be. But I still like it. Still would recommend it to roguelike fans. And I think honestly it's a lot of fun. I just wish I had a hope of finishing it, is what I would like.
And I wish I had a hope of ever liking a roguelike ever in my life.
We're going to find you one. There's going to be one. I don't know where it is. I don't know what it is. But there's going to be one. We'll find it. We'll get there. It's going to be a journey. You and me going on a journey together, buddy.
I mean, the closest I've gotten thus far is Crypt of the Necrodancer and Prey Mooncrash.
Oh, yeah, Mooncrash. That was it was kind of a roguelike, wasn't it? But that had progression, though, didn't it?
It did, so I guess technically it was a roguelite.
And honestly, that's where they need to be. I don't think that anybody really likes roguelikes anymore. I think people like roguelites, Lite. And I just think it's a better way to be as far as a game designer. Like, you got to give the player hope, and you can't really ask people to devote their life to overcoming these, like, really, really difficult, like, hard resets and these really steep mountains to climb. All of the best roguelite... Well, I mean, I guess all of the best rogues that I play, that I like the most and that I recommend the most, all have some sort of progression to them, so that even if you are really bad or die a lot, you still got the hope that if you just grind away, you'll eventually get there. I can't say that about Fission Superstar X, but god damn it, I still really like it. I just think it's really good. I really like it a lot. I hope the developers hear me. I hope they patch it out. I hope they do something to make it easier, because I would love to roll credits on this. I would love to, but I don't see it in the cards, but we'll see. Anyway, any further thoughts, Corey?
I don't think so. I was just going to say that the fact that you kind of want to roll credits and, I don't know, like, and you still are enjoying it despite the flaws that it has is kind of a testament to how good it must be.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of personality. I think it's really good. But I mean, honestly, no matter how good it is, if I lose hope, I'm going to put that game down, and I will probably end up maybe not recommending it, because if I get to the point where I just hit a wall and I just can't get past it, despite how much I like it, that's a tough thing to recommend. That's a very small group of people who would be willing to go into a game where, like, yeah, I couldn't beat this game, it was way too hard. You try it. And I mean, some people will be up for that, but not many. I think they would really be doing themselves a favor by taking their foot off the gas and just, like, easing up a little bit. So anyway, I do like it. Probably will never finish it. Don't think I'll talk about it again, but I really like it. I'm glad I bought it, and I had a really good time with it. So if this at all sounds remotely good to you, if you like roguelikes, if you like shoot 'em ups, if you like roguelike shoot 'em ups, this is your jam. I think it's really good despite being too hard. So there you go, Fission Superstar X. That's all I have to say. We are almost out of time. I think we did a great job on watching the clock. Corey, I think it's time for you to bring it home, sir.
All right, let's do it. That brings us to the end of episode 142. Remember, you can stick around after the ending music if you want to hear tonight's banter. And like Brad said earlier, we are kind of back with a vengeance for banter this week. We've got about 45 pure minutes of banter talking about some stuff that I will not disclose right here. But if you don't want to listen to that, it's totally fine. You can bail and come back next week for our regular show. If you want to get in touch with us, you can send us any thoughts, any comments, any feedback, any games you want us to play, ideas for the show, whatever you want to send us. In a multitude of ways. The first way is by emailing us. Our email address is sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com. You can also post comments on Game Critics' website under each show whenever they go live there. You can comment on our posts where they originate on SoundCloud if you wish. We're also on Twitter as a collective show. Our collective show Twitter handle is @SoVideoGames. And last but not least, you can reach us individually on social media. Brad, would you like to give out your handles?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, BRADGALLAWAY, all A's, no O's. And if you do listen to the banter, you're going to want to go check out my Instagram, I'm telling you.
Indeed, or maybe not. But I can also be found on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is much like Brad's. It's just my first and last name. It is Corey Motley, COREYMOTLEY. But that brings us to the end of the show. Brad, do you have any parting words before we sign off?
No, that's it. Just thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you aboard, folks, and we'll talk again.
Indeed. We'll be back next week, as always. But until then, this is bye from Corey.
And bye from Brad. See you next time. Testing levels look fine. Do I look okay? Or sound? How do we look, Corey? You like my shirt? Oh, it's got this new shirt. It's great. I've been working out. What do you think? Yeah. How do I sound? God damn it,
Brad. I don't appreciate you lying to me. I know you're not wearing any clothes on the other end of the sign.
I podcast totally naked every single time.
The thought has crossed my mind that, I mean, I don't think we ever should or need to do this, but podcasting and like video chatting at the same time, because I've seen people do it where they like will post the video along with their podcast online, but that seems like a lot of extra work.
It does, and I don't know. It's not like we'd be showing anything. It would just be our faces talking at our faces. Like, how, that's not exciting. I don't know. It's like having a conversation with a person where you're staring straight at their fucking face for like 2 hours. That'd be weird.
I guess so.
Anyway, do I sound okay is what I'm getting at.
Yes, you do sound okay.
All right. You sound fine. How's your levels?
We're good, I think. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. 2 full hours. Okay, so I just watched a movie like 5 seconds ago. Have you seen 47 Meters Down?
No.
It is a scary movie about sharks. It stars, excuse me, Mandy Moore and one other lady. I don't know what her name is. I apologize to whoever actress that is because she did a great job. It is about these 2 sisters who get out to Mexico because one of the sisters has just broken up with her boyfriend and she's like mega bummed. And so this is like, we're just going down to, whatever, get our drink on and meet some nice brown boys and forget about our problems for a while. As you do. And so they go out to this scuba thing where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to get in this like shark cage and there's going to be like all these real big sharks and we're going to dive and it's going to be so cool. But then, as you may expect, since I'm telling you this story, like problems occur and things happen. Man, it was scary as fuck. And like the scariest thing about this movie was like, it was all totally real. Like there was no big rubber shark, jumping across a street to grab somebody or, nothing. Nobody had a rocket launcher. Like it was all stuff that you could very plausibly imagine to happen if you actually went and did one of these shark cage things, which are a thing. I've seen those in real life. You see them on TV. You see them advertised somewhere. People do this for real. Man, it was just like so tense, dude. I was like, that feeling where like, I don't know if this happens to you, but it happens to me. Like if you're on top of something really, really tall or high up, and then you like scooch over to the edge and you look straight down, that feeling of like your body's telling you like you're about to die, motherfucker. Take a step back from the edge. Like, that feeling of like impending doom.
Absolutely. I'm scared of heights, so I can relate to this.
Okay, so like that feeling throughout like the entire like last half of the movie. I was like, like the tingles were going crazy and I was like, my balls are like retracting inside my body and I'm like, I could not settle down. It was really tense, really on edge. Really well done, dude. That was really well done. There was like a little left turn at the end that I didn't see coming, which I thought was really well done. And man, it was scary. There was a couple parts where they're swimming through the water and like all they're doing is just showing the water and it is the most frightening thing in the world. Nothing happening but just the water. But like, we're terrestrial animals. Like we are meant to have our feet on the ground. And like when you're in an element that is not your own, like, those pictures of like a documentary or something where like you look in the water and you can't see anything. It's like blue for infinity, right? Like you just can't see the bottom. You can't see the top. You can't see the sides. You're just like in the blue. I don't know about you, but that's really scary to me. And this movie was full of that shit. And I was like, oh my God, it is pinging my phobias like so hard. It was scary as shit. It was good though. It was really good. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. I would totally recommend this movie to anybody who likes scary movies or shark movies. It was super, super good.
Why did you watch this?
So we, my son and I, we've been kind of on a horror movie kick. I'm slowly acclimating him to the world of horror films. And so this week has been nuts, dude. This week has been crazy nuts, really busy. I've been just like losing my mind. And I finally got a grip on things today. I sat down, I got some paperwork knocked out, had a discussion about the wife, about upcoming plans. I started writing things down. I had a list and I finally got on top of things. I made lunch and it was all good. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, we have like 2 hours where like, I'm okay. Like I don't need to do anything right now. I have stuff to do, but it doesn't have to be done right now. And the son was here, and we just had a really busy week. And I'm like, I kind of feel just like watching a movie with you. What do you want to do? He's like, yeah, Dad, let's watch a movie. So I'm like, all right, let's watch a movie. So, we've been trying to slowly build up his tolerance for scary movies. I don't want to like traumatize him, but he's really interested in scary movies, and so we're going slow. The first one we started to watch was some kind of weird ghost movie from Thailand. And it seemed like it was going to be kind of like funny, scary, but then it just looked like more of like a weird, funny, and it wasn't really like the right mood that we were looking for. So we stopped that. We switched over to the original Night of the Living Dead from George Romero from like 1968. Have you ever seen that one?
Or the black and white one or the color one?
Yeah, the black and white one.
I've never seen the black and white one, but I've seen the color one.
I've seen it a few times. It's actually still a really good movie, and I figured that's old enough. It's not very gory. It's in black and white. That even helps. So I'm like, okay, well, this might be a good time to like, because he's all about zombies and stuff. He's all about it. So he's like, yeah, let's watch it. We got about like 6 minutes in, and he's like, we can't watch this. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we turned it off. But he's very tough when it comes to shark movies. We've seen a dozen shark movies, and for whatever reason, like that's the kind of scary that he's okay with right now. So we're like, okay, let's watch this one. Free on Netflix, and I had a friend who recommended it to me like last year or something. So that was what we settled on for today's scary movie, and man, it was scary. It was so good, but tense AF, dude. Oh my God, like so many moments where you're just like holding your breath, and it was just so real. Like you could totally imagine. Yep, that would happen if I went scuba diving. That would totally happen. Like all this shit totally could happen. Like none of it was fictional. It was all possible, and that made it even scarier, dude. That was way scarier. So, woo, good movie, but fucking scary.
I'm surprised that you are so into horror movies, considering you don't like scary video games.
See, that's interesting, isn't it? Because I like watching scary movies. I'm into them, and I don't like every scary movie. Like, I don't just like movies where people are getting chopped up for no good reason, like, or not like like mega gory. I mean, I don't mind it, but there's got to be a good story or something to go along with it. I don't just watch it just for the sake of watching people getting killed, but it's just different, dude. It just strikes my brain a different way. Like I can watch a scary movie and be into it, and it's fine. And I know it's all going to be over in 90 minutes, so I can like kind of tough it out. But like playing a scary game where I feel like I am in it and it's happening to me and shit, like no, man, I don't want no part of that. It is too much. Like a little bit of fear, fine, but me being in the fear is no bueno. No, thank you. No.
Understandable. I guess now that I think about it, I watched some more scary movies whenever I was younger, and now I'm not averse to them, but I just don't really watch them. But if like a good scary game comes along, I'm like first in line to play it.
You are first in line to play it, which I'm very impressed by. Man, dude, a movie. Speaking of scary movies, let's talk about movies for a minute here. I'm going to hijack this whole section for a second here. We just watched The Purge. Have you seen that? The first Purge?
I have seen none of them.
You've seen none of them. Okay. So, when was the last time we even talked? It feels like a long time since we talked. I know we had a little bit of a delay. We say this every time we record. It feels like a million years since we recorded. Does it feel like that to you?
Yeah, well, last week we didn't do Banter, so we just got into the games that got out, and that was it.
That's true. So it's kind of like 2 weeks between Banter, which is kind of weird. So, okay, I had never seen The Purge either, but like me and the wife were having, we had a day when the son was off with a friend, and we're like, okay, cool. We've got the house to ourselves. Already had sex, got that out of the way. It's all fine. Now we have like the rest of the day to do something. And we're like, let's watch a movie. And for whatever reason, like my wife is not usually down for scary movies. Like it's not her jam. But we were both feeling like really like kind of depressed about like the political situation. We just had like this long discussion about, what we thought about politics and stuff. Not going to get into it here, but we were just, that's the mindset that we were kind of in. We were kind of like just feeling really negative. And I was like, you know what, when you're feeling this down, like the only thing you can do is like watch a scary movie, like to get your adrenaline going and just to like shock you out of your bad mood, right? And she's like, okay, cool, let's watch a movie. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's watch something scary. So we watched The Purge, the very first one. And I'd heard people talk about it, and it seemed like kind of one of those people going crazy movies that I'm not really like super down with, but I'm like, well, I want something that's kind of a little bit more extreme. And I gotta say, not nearly as scary or bloody as I expected. It was almost like anticlimactic, like how I don't want to say how tame it was, but I expected it to be like a lot more raw than it was, and it just really wasn't. Like, it was fine. It was, the premise of The Purge, Corey?
Yeah, it's where they allow the 24-hour period where you can get away with like any crime ever. So it's basically like a bunch of people murdering each other in the streets.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. That is exactly what happens. And I was expecting madness and chaos and just like horror and to be, just to be scared and to be grossed out. And it was pretty tame. I mean, I think maybe I'm just getting disillusioned or jaded or whatever, but it was pretty tame. And I think that the weird thing about it was because the stuff we had been talking about politically was horrible. And then to watch a movie like this, which, I mean, like, straight up, it just was like Republicans Gone Wild is what that movie was. Like, it was about a bunch of rich white people killing a bunch of poor black people. And that's kind of what's going on in America right now. So, like, when we watched the movie, we're like, oh, this is not nearly as frightening as kids being in cages at the border. This is not scary enough at all. So, it was okay. Like, it was fine. And I think we probably will watch the other ones at a later date. But I expected a lot more, dude. I expected a lot more. Not that it was bad, but I didn't get scared at all. But then we followed it up with the Belko Experiment. Have you heard of this one?
I don't think so.
It is a movie where a bunch of people go to work in a building in South America, and they get paid a lot of money to do some kind of like weird government work or something. They're out in the middle of fucking like nowhere, in the middle of a jungle or something. Like the government cleared out, like 2 acres of land and stuck a big building in the middle of the fucking jungle, and there's all this security around there because they don't want their employees getting kidnapped by Colombians or whatever, because I guess that's a thing that happens down there. But they're doing their job in this office, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, metal shutters all the way down, all the windows, all the doors. The place is completely sealed off from the outside, and they are locked in. And then someone comes up on the PA, and they're like, yeah, there's like 78 of you in the building, and if 3 of you are not dead in the next half hour, we're going to kill 10 people. So then all of a sudden people think it's like a joke, and they're like, ha ha ha, whatever. But like, seriously, so like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you guys need to all of a sudden decide who lives and who dies. Like right now, you've got 30 minutes, or else more of you are going to die. And so it kind of goes on from there, but it basically kind of boils down into kind of a battle royale inside of a building. Pretty interesting, and it was actually pretty good. A couple of really cool surprises. The action was pretty funny in a few places, and overall, I mean, I thought it was a really, really enjoyable movie. Does that sound like something you would be up for, Corey?
Probably not.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I wasn't sure it was going to be my thing either, but I'm glad we watched it. And I think it was made by Blumhouse, who also are the people who made The Purge as well. But I think we've seen 1 or 2 of their other movies, and I think I'm kind of like into what they're doing right now. I know they started with Hostel, which I don't think I'm down for. That one seems like kind of a torture porn. I'm not really up for that. But since then, it seems like they're making a couple like wink wink nudge nudge movies with like a little bit of a political slant in with the horror, a couple of really cool twists and ideas. I'm kind of into their vibe right now, so I think I'm going to check out some more stuff from them. But the Belko Experiment I thought was really good. The Purge, it was okay. I think I probably would have liked it better if I'd seen it when it came out. But 47 meters down, dude. Oh, dude, that was good. So, sorry I hijacked the whole thing. I just had to get all this movie stuff out. I was like burning to talk about it. So, I'm going to turn it over to you, dude. Do you want to talk movies? You want to talk about something else? I know you got a lot of banter this week, don't you?
I've got a couple probably big things to talk about.
All right, man. Let's go for it.
Yeah, the first thing I want to do is kind of give like the closing statement to my flooding car story, because I haven't given like the final update on this.
Okay, yes, the flooding car story, the ongoing saga. Oh my god. Okay.
So I don't even remember where we last left off. I think where we last left off was I was trying to buy a new Honda Fit, and I couldn't find a manual transmission one.
And I told you to special order the one you wanted, and then you were, so what happened? Did you order the one you wanted? Did you settle for a different one? What happened?
I did not order the one I wanted. I ended up looking, I know. Well, I can't wait 2 months to get a car. Like, that's kind of the long and short of it. So, but you
had the motorcycle, though, dude.
Well, I know. Well, the motorcycle, that's like a secondary thing that's going on right now. So I ended up finding a car online that I thought I was going to like, and well, I'll just talk about it in a second. And so it was at a Toyota dealership here, and so I went to the Toyota dealership a couple weeks ago, and I pretty much like, I mean, just from like seeing it online and seeing like the year and the color and the body style, and it was a manual transmission, I was like pretty sure that I wanted to get it, and it was kind of like I don't know, like it just seemed right. And also, like, I couldn't really wait around to get a car. Like, I kind of needed to get one as soon as I possibly could. So I ended up going to a Toyota dealership and test driving a car. I liked it. And then that was on a Friday. That was like 2 Fridays ago or something. And then Patrick and I went back the following Monday because he had to get like a money order, or he was going to get like a cashier's check from the bank to pay it, but banks like aren't open on Saturdays, so it was kind of a whole thing. And so we went and got it Monday morning. This was like 2 or 3 Mondays ago. So I am the proud owner of and I don't, I'm going to say the make and model of this car, but I don't really think anybody knows what it is. And I didn't know what it was until I saw the listing for it. It's a Scion, which I know what a Scion is. It's like
I have a Scion.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I do.
What is your Scion?
We have an XD.
An XD. That's like the tiny SUV type one, right? Like,
it's like a 4-door, but it's kind of a smaller. I wouldn't say it's an SUV, and it's definitely not a wagon. It's kind of like
Brad,
a little.
That's why I said the word tiny in front of SUV.
I know, but no, it doesn't even apply. No, no, not even a tiny SUV. So what did you get? I know I'm very familiar with Scion.
I got an IM, and it's a.
Okay, let me wait. Google. Here we go.
Go to the Googles. It's a 2016 IM. It's basically like the XD, but it's a little bit longer and wagonier, if you will.
Yeah.
Because like the XD and like the Honda Fit have a very similar body style where they're kind of like stubby, but they're still 4 doors. They still have a hatchback and they have plenty of room and stuff. And I really like Scion XDs as well, because back when I was in the market for my Honda Fit, my first one that I had, I was looking at Scions as well. And I didn't even know the Scion IM was a thing. And so I just like found it on this Toyota website, and the one I got, it's like this incredible like electric blue color. So I got this like bright blue car. It's a 4-door, so it has plenty of room. It has a hatchback for storage in the back. It's a 2016, so it's a lot newer than my old car, because my old one was a 2008. It had just under 15,000 miles on it whenever I bought it. And,
oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and my Fit had like 115,000, so it's, substantially younger and newer. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like kind of an anticlimactic story, because I didn't like, travel on foot to Houston, Texas to get my Honda Fit that I wanted, or, like have them order one. But I mean, it is a happy ending nonetheless, because I ended up getting a car. I like the car I got. I have it, and I guess that's good news. And then the cherry on top, of course, which I talked about last week, is that I just got my motorcycle fixed. So I have my bike back for the first time in like 2.5 years, and I have already been riding the hell out of it. I took it out the day I got fixed. As soon as I got back from MechaCon, which is the next story I'm going to tell, I took it out that night, and then I drove it to work on Monday morning, and then I drove it to work on Wednesday or Thursday? Yesterday morning. Yesterday was Thursday. Drove it to work and back yesterday morning, and I'm very, very happy to have my bike back. So I went from 1 car to 0 cars to 2 cars in about 3 weeks, and now all is right with the world. The equilibrium is back. Everything is settled, and I can go about my business.
Okay, well, I was really pulling for you to get the exact one you wanted. I wanted you to do you and get what you wanted. But I think this is actually a pretty happy turn of events anyway. I mean, we've had a Scion for a while. We've been like super happy with it. I mean, it's a great car. We would totally buy like another one if we needed to buy. I don't want to buy another one, but if we did need to, I would totally buy another one. I've never heard of the IM, but I'm looking at it right now and literally looking at the electric blue color that you mentioned. It's a sharp looking car. It looks like a very nice vehicle, and I mean, if you are as happy with your IM as we have been with our XD, I think you will be in good shape.
Thank you. I think so too. I like it so far. I really don't actually have I have like really minor complaints, but it's just like stuff that I'm just being a baby about. Like I liked the Fit had a bigger windshield, and like the windows were bigger, so you could like see everything around you, and the IM feels more like a car when you sit in it, because you kind of like sink into the seats when you get into it, which isn't, neither here nor there, but I'm just so used to like sitting upright in a car. But I do like it. I mean, I don't feel like I had to like downgrade, or I really had to like compromise, and it's a manual transmission, so I still got that, which is kind of the big thing I wanted. So I have a new car and I'm happy. So things are good.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the one complaint I have about my Scion is that kind of like related to the seats. The seats are at like a strange angle in the XD, and I think we have like, I want to say it's like a 2005 or something like that. The seats are at a strange angle. They're like a little bit more reclined than I like to be. and the headrest is also at a strange angle. So I didn't really like notice it at first, but like as the years have gone on, I'm like, this is such a weird angle to be sitting at. And the headrest just really does not sit with me that well. So if I put a little pillow behind my back, then everything squares off correctly because I drive like an old man, I guess. And everything is fine with a little pillow. But like I wish you could adjust the headrest. I wish there was like a little bit of a knob or something. And I went back into the Scion dealership later on. And I'm like, are there custom seats that we can get? Because I don't know if people know this, but like when Scion first came out, I don't know if they still are, but one of their big hooks was you can customize fucking every aspect of this car. So we've got like all sorts of options, different packages, like you can get different rims and different, sunroof or not sunroof, or different radios and like different, all this stuff, like all the stuff you can customize, right? And they're like, whatever you want, we'll quote you the price, and that's all it is. Like, there's no negotiation. You just buy it for the price that it is, and you can add or remove things as you want. That sounded good to me. And so I went back after purchase, and I'm like, hey, so, like, we've been driving this for, like, 6 months, and the seats are just kind of weird. Like, my neck kind of sits at a weird angle. Can we get, like, different seats to change out? And they just gave me, like, this look. Like dead stare in the face. I'm like, hello, He's like, what? I'm like, can I get a different seat? Like, the way that the seat is, maybe I'm too short or something? I don't know, but it's like a weird seat. He's like, we don't do that. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't do that. You customize every fucking aspect of this goddamn car. You don't have a custom seat? He's like, no. Who does that? And I'm like, what? I'm like, I've heard of. I mean, I don't know about you, dude, but people have changed seats in cars. Like, it's a thing you can do. Maybe you got to go to like an aftermarket or something. But it's like, it's not saying like I wanted to equip it to go to the moon or something. It's just like I wanted a different seat. Okay. Anyway, that was fucking stupid, and I was like, fuck you. I'll just drive with my fucking old man pillow. Who cares? Whatever. But, like, I found it ridiculous that this guy, like, could not even conceive of having a different seat in a car.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm sorry about your car problems, but at least you have your trusty pillow to help you out.
I mean, yes, I got my pillow. Word of advice to you, if your neck starts hurting, get a little pillow. You'll be fine, too. It'll all work out. You'll like the car. The car's been great other than that, and it's not that big a deal, but... Anyway, just wanted to mention that. So what else you got cooking, buddy?
Well, I spent all weekend at MechaCon, which is a sort of like anime-ish video game, movie, just general sort of Comic-Con type convention here. And as usual, I talk about it every time I go, but I go with, there's a group of Spider-Man cosplayers called the Spidey Team that are largely based in Lafayette, Louisiana, which is about 2 hours west of New Orleans. And there's a couple people in Houston, Texas, and MechaCon is kind of one of the big cons that they all converge on. And it's always great to see them, and it was great to see them over the weekend. But I have a kind of traumatic story from this year at MechaCon that I want to share. Yeah.
Okay, did somebody grope you on the floor?
No, it's not. Well, it's a little bit traumatic for me, but not as traumatic as it is for somebody else. So.
Oh, Jesus. Did somebody die?
No, nobody died.
Okay, go ahead.
We were out. I do multiple like different kinds of shoots with people in the Spidey Team and other people whenever I'm at these cons. And there's one of the guys from Houston who I really like. He's a very good friend and he's a wonderful dude. He came in and we were out shooting, and there's like this kind of like median area across the street of the hotel that has like a little park in it and these like some like trees and these little like statue things. And I was out there shooting with some of the cosplayers. I was shooting Captain America, and I got some America's ass pictures, of course. And I was shooting with some other Spider-Mans. I shot with a guy who had this cool sort of like, it was like a Spider-Man / like Dragon Ball Z type bodysuit. So it was like kind of neat looking, because there are I see stuff like that every once in a while where they do like kind of like a weird like mashup of cosplays. And
right.
And then I started shooting Spider-Man, my friend from Houston, and so he's one of those dudes who somehow he's gotten very well connected with a few very, very, very exceptionally good photographers in Houston. And they do a lot of photos where they like climb up abandoned buildings and like get on the edge of these like multi-story roofs, and they take these like incredible like pictures that I could never take in a million years. They're so good. And so he's very much like into climbing on stuff and being up high and taking pictures and like doing really cool stuff for like these great Spider-Man photos. And so he starts climbing up this like this kind of just like a statue, I guess, in front of me, and it kind of looks like a steel beam with this like metal like grating wrapped around it, and he's like climbing up it, and I'm taking all these pictures of him, and he's, you know, doing some Spidey poses, and then
I'm getting scared.
yeah, I know. Scared. I mean, we all maybe know where the story's going, but so he's about maybe 10 feet off the ground, maybe 12, and he comes around to the other side of the statue, and he's like doing some more poses and stuff. And there's these like kind of like rock things that are sort of on the metal beam, and I didn't really pay attention to them, but they're just kind of there, like part of the sculpture. And he reaches up to grab one to get a better hold on the steel beam, and it's not. I mean, it's part of the statue, but it's not like adhered to the statue. So he grabs this like rocky piece with his left hand. His hand is completely extended up, puts his hand on this like rocky piece that's on the steel beam. It comes loose immediately, and he falls all the way down the steel beam. And like I said, it's about 10 feet or so off the ground. He lands right on his heels and then falls down immediately to the ground. And his left ankle like shattered on impact from him coming down to the statue.
Oh no!
So, and I was the only person that saw it, because the other guys that I was kind of shooting that were doing cosplay were just kind of like joking around like behind us, like kind of on the other side of the park. You know, I have my camera in my hand, I'm shooting him, and he's up there doing his poses and stuff. I mean, we got some good shots and whatever. But, you know, he reaches up, tries to grab this thing, falls completely down, lands on his heels, ankle shatters on impact. We have to call an ambulance because there's nothing we can do. And, you know, he's from Houston, so it's not like he has family here or anything. So he's like freaking out on the ground, and he's like screaming. And he had like kind of like shoes that were sort of like attached to the bottom of the suit. And Logan, one of the guys in the group, like basically had to like tear the suit and like pull the shoe part off, and like hit the back of his ankle was really swollen. And luckily, like nothing like bled, like none of the skin broke, which was, I think, a good thing. So, you know, there wasn't like blood anywhere or anything like that. But he fell down and he broke his ankle, and we had to call an ambulance. He got taken away in the ambulance, and like his mom left Houston to come see him and got there like really, and this was on Saturday pretty early, maybe like around 1 or 2 p.m. on Saturday. So he only made it through about half the con weekend, and luckily they did a panel on Friday night, so they got to get the panel out of the way and everything. But I just felt really, really awful for him, because he's kind of one of those dudes who like, he will always persevere no matter what's going on, but like whenever he's in the moment of being down in the dumps, he like really gets down in the dumps. So like he was like, you know, just kind of like screaming and being really frustrated, and he was like, oh, like this is the last time I'm ever gonna cosplay, I'm never gonna come back to this con, I think this is it for me. And I was like, man, you need to pull it together. Like I know this sucks, but like you like come on, man.
Oh my god, I realize you just maimed yourself, but keep it real, bitch.
Well, I'm just like, he gets in a very negative mindset when this stuff kind of happens, which, I mean, I get it. Like, I've never fallen 10 feet and broken my ankle, so I would probably say the same fucking thing if I were him. But, you know, we were all trying to, like, help him out, and, you know, we called the ambulance, and the EMT dudes showed up, and they, like, put the splint thing around his ankle and his leg, and, you know, like, put an IV in and everything. And then, like, in the middle of it, because this kind of stuff has happened to me before, where I've been in the middle of a situation, somebody's injured themselves. Like, it happened at the skate park about 3 months ago, where a skateboarder, like, broke his knee while he was skateboarding, and luckily that wasn't graphic either. But, like, the same thing happened. He was skateboarding, he broke his knee, somebody called an ambulance, they came and they picked him up. And, like, in the moment, I want to be kind and, like, not, because I'm a photographer, like, I don't want to take pictures, because it seems like not the polite thing to do. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of, like, go into photojournalism mode, and I'm like, okay, well, like, this is the one time this thing is going to happen, so, like, maybe I should take some pictures, like, you know, maybe. And luckily Josh who's the guy that injured himself, had asked one of the guys in the group, like, because they're trying to shoot, like, a documentary about the Spidey team, and he, like, looked at the guy, and he was like, he was, like, not trying to be, like, famous for injuring himself or anything, but he was like, hey, maybe you should document this. Like, if this is something you want to document, like, that's fine. And so as soon as he said that to the other guy, I immediately, like, put my camera up to my eye and was, like, taking a bunch of pictures, and because I knew he wouldn't care at that point. And so I ended up getting some pretty, like, it sounds terrible, I hate saying this, but, like, some pretty excellent pictures of him like being taken away on like the stretcher, and he was like crying and like looking up at other Spidey team members, and he just looked really upset. But it was like pretty traumatic because I was the only person that saw it. He literally fell like 3 feet in front of me on the ground. Like, it's not like he was far away or anything. Like, fell right in front of me. And of course, I can't stop thinking about like, oh, well, what if I had like caught him, or like what if I had broken his fall in some way, which I realize is a ridiculous thing to think about. But when that kind of thing happens, like, and you're the only one there, like that's kind of something that you get stuck like cycling in your head. But luckily he should be healing. I think he's going to be off his feet for like 8 weeks. And then he said he has like 6 weeks of sort of like leg rehab after that. So, in the grand scheme of his life, it's but a sliver, but I know that he's kind of down in the dumps right now. And it's really unfortunate that happened. And I mean, the rest of the weekend was good, that aside, but that was kind of like this really odd, traumatic piece of the weekend that happened right in the middle of the weekend. And it was pretty terrible, but I think everything's going to be okay.
Man, oh, that's too bad. I mean, and a guy like that, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know this guy, but I know the kind of guys you photograph, and I can only surmise from someone being on the Spidey team, probably very athletic, probably very into their body and doing a lot of things outside, and to have an injury like that that's really immobilizing can be very disruptive mentally and physically. Not just physically, but like if you have somebody who's very active and then all of a sudden they are not active, that's a huge blow on multiple levels. I mean, not only do they have to figure out how to even just go about their daily life, right? But also all this stuff that they probably really enjoy a lot is like no longer a choice for a couple weeks, 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. That can throw somebody into a pretty deep depression, honestly. I've seen some friends who have had some injuries who were very athletic, and man, I was surprised at like how badly it like wrecked them, like mentally. Like the injury was fine, they were in no danger with their life, they were just going to heal nicely, but boy, like they just were, ooh, I mean, it can do some really dark things to a person to have something like that taken away. So I wish him the best, and I hope he's got some family and friends around to keep him supported while he heals. I'm guessing the biggest damage from this is going to be psychological and not physical.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think he'll come out of the other side of it and be, I don't want to say like better off because that's a really stupid thing to say, but I think that he'll reflect on it and be, better on the other side of it than he thinks he will be right now, which is a good thing, because he always get like he faces a lot of hardships in his life, and he always gets through them, and maybe it's not always gracefully, but he always does it, and so I think he will, but it'll just take the interim time between now and everything being healed and everything being over with is probably going to be really rough, but he'll get through it. I know he will, and hopefully on the other side everything will be fine.
All right. Well, best wishes to him, man. And I don't envy him at all. That's really too bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Let's change it up a little bit. I wanted to talk about homeschooling for a second. Maybe you remember this, maybe you don't, but I think it was last week I posted some pictures about going to a chicken butchering class. Did you see those pictures on Instagram?
I did not see these pictures.
Oh, you didn't see those pictures?
No.
Oh, I thought for sure you would have seen those.
I'm glad I didn't see them. That sounds terrible.
Oh man, let me tell you about it. So what happened was I was thinking about, okay, so we eat meat in this family. We love meat. Animals can die in front of me and I'll eat them, and they taste real good and I like it and it's fine. But I wanted my kid to like have a better understanding of like where meat comes from. The cliche is, it doesn't just arrive out of the air and into styrofoam packages in the grocery store. Like, it's got to come from somewhere, right? So like, we really wanted to like tackle that head on and be like, look, we're a meat eating family. I know where food comes from, and I'm okay with that. Same with the wife. But I'm like, a child of mine who's 10, you probably have like a theoretical understanding, but you probably don't really understand like where your food comes from. And he's a big fan of chicken nuggets, as all kids are basically. So we're like, let's dive into this a little bit. And it just so happened that there was another homeschool kid who was older. He's probably 16, 17. I'd never met him before, but he lives on an actual fucking farm, like 45 minutes outside of Seattle. So the weird thing about Seattle, it's a big city. People think of it, it's like one of the tech hubs of the West Coast. More millionaires per capita than any other place possibly in the world. Like tons of money, tons of tech, blah, 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 blah. But if you go just a few minutes outside the city, it's like rural, dude. Like there's rural shit going on. Like this, so that we drove out, and this kid was on a fucking farm, like with cows and goats, geese, chickens, all sorts of shit. And his dad, like, so these people, like, literally, like, butchered all their own food, grew most of their own food, did all sorts of, like, farm-ass shit. And, like,
as you do
crazy. It was
on farms.
As you do. So, like, so that kid was trying to raise money for something. I think he wanted to do, like, a sheep project or something, and he needed more money to get sheep or something. So he hosted this class of how to butcher your own chicken. So I'm like, okay, cool. This is the perfect opportunity. We eat chicken, but I think it's important to know where chicken comes from to make an informed choice. And so, we do this thing. So we drive out to this guy's farm. He's got a bunch of chickens. We meet his farm mom and his farm dad, who are also like real ass farmers. Very cool people. Very nice. They were lovely. Their farm was amazing. They had this barn that was like so beautiful. Like looked like a classic red barn from the outside. You go inside and it was just like really richly fragrant cedar wood on like the floor and the ceiling, and it was all really polished, and it's a gorgeous piece of property. So we go out there, and he's just like, and of course anybody listening, if you follow me on Instagram, you can scroll back in my Instagram timeline. I have pictures of this, so you can check it out for yourself if you want to. But he had a bunch of chickens. He got one out, and he's like, okay, so this is we're gonna do the chicken thing, and this is how it goes, start to finish, A to Z. So he totally grabbed a chicken, killed it like right in front of us.
Oh my God.
And then he boiled it, plucked it, chopped it up in a bunch of pieces, and he's like, all right, and this is where your chicken comes from. And the next step would be to wrap it up and send it to Safeway. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then it was our turn. And there was me and my family and a couple other families were there. Like, I think it was like 3 families total came out to do this. And so we went and my son got to pick out a chicken. And I thought he was going to kill it himself, but he didn't want to at the last minute. So I'm like, that's totally fine. So I did it myself. I did the deed, grabbed the chicken and killed it myself. And to be honest, it was weird. Like, I mean, you don't often ritualistically kill something in front of a group of people. I mean, it's a once in a while kind of a special occasion. Definitely not an everyday thing. So that was a little bit strange. So like how you did it, like there's many ways. My son was thinking that we were going to have an axe and chop its head off. That didn't happen. My friend who has had chickens said that if you grab a chicken's neck and spin it around real fast, it will break. We didn't do that either. What we did was we grabbed the chicken. I held it down, and you could feel its throat.
Oh, God.
And, yeah, you could totally feel its throat, like where the bones were and the skin was. And so he's just like, if you cut it at this part, it'll totally bleed out in like a minute.
Oh, no. I don't want to hear this.
Too late, you just heard it.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so the chicken died. It was over pretty quick. And I will say, much less blood came out of that chicken than I thought was going to. I was prepared for like a horror movie like Bloodbath. Totally not that at all. It was actually much, much less than I thought it was going to be. So the chicken died. We brought it over to this boiling ass pot of water, threw the whole bird in. And it boiled, just stirred the bird. Like imagine an entire chicken with head and feet and feathers being stirred in a boiling pot for like a minute or two. And the point of that was to cook the skin, not cook the meat, but cook the skin enough that you could pull the feathers out. So we did that, pulled it out. And then, man, those feathers came out like nothing, dude. Like it looks like so much work if you've ever seen like a cowboy movie or something like that. Man, those feathers came out like lickety-split, no problem. So we stripped it down, and then we went through the whole butchering process, cut the chicken open and took the guts out and cut off, we knew where to like cut the joints and to cut the pieces up. And then at the end of it, we had like chicken like you would see in a store. Like we had thighs and we had some drumsticks and we had a couple of breasts and everything. So it was really, really interesting. We got home and we cooked it up, and he's like, just heads up, this is not store-bought chicken. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to taste fine, but the consistency of the meat is different. And so just be ready for that. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I trust you. Went home, cooked it up. The flavor was good. It was really good. It tasted really good, really fresh, and, very chickeny. It didn't taste gamey or weird. But the breasts of the chicken were much smaller than they would be in a store. So at first we were like, oh, bummer. Like, maybe we're not going to get full off of this dinner because doesn't seem to be a lot of meat on this thing. But by the time that we cooked it, like it was actually a lot denser than an actual chicken breast. It was kind of the consistency of a steak, to be honest with you. I had to get out a steak knife and we cut it up, and it was, I don't want to say that it was tough because it wasn't like we were like chewing on it for an hour. It was just like a piece of steak. And so we ate it, and like, man, after just having like a small chicken breast, like I was totally full. So I wonder if like the nutritional content was more, or maybe like the protein content was more, because it definitely didn't feel like a store-bought chicken breast, or even like a chicken breast like you would get at like, you know, Wendy's or something like that. Like it definitely felt different as you were going through it. But really good experience. Really interesting. The people at the farm use 100% of the chicken. They had a use for like every bit of it, and they were like, dude, whatever pieces you don't want, give it to us because we will use all of it. So we gave them like the feet and the guts, and I think the feathers you can't do anything with, but like all the rest of it they had a use for, and they were all about like respecting the animal and making sure that it didn't go to waste, and you know, being very cognizant about what we're doing. And their chickens had a really good, you know, free range chicken life. I mean, as good a life as a chicken can expect. And the really interesting thing, a little side note, was when we cut open the chicken, I did not know this at all. But chickens have like a billion little egg yolks inside of them when they are chickens. And then each little yolk will develop a shell one by one. So I guess I didn't really understand or think about how it worked, but I suppose I thought just like an egg would be created like one by one. But like those yolks are all in there. So when we cut open the chicken, there's like 1,000 little yellow, tiny orange egg yolks all like in a row. And they're like, oh yeah, the chickens come with these eggs, like the yolks ready to roll. Kind of similar to how I guess a woman is born with eggs in their ovaries, I suppose. Kind of the same biological structure a little bit. And when we cut ours open, there actually was an egg inside of it, like a full-on egg, like ready to go. So we cut open the chicken, took out the egg. We kept the egg and ate it, and it was fine. And that was a really interesting bit of the process that we didn't expect. But overall, I mean, super educational. We still eat chicken, and you know, I feel like we respected animals before, like we're not really wasteful or anything, but to really understand what it means to eat meat and be okay with that is, I think, a step that a lot of people don't do. So I'm glad that we did that, and I got to say I learned a lot. I learned a lot that day. Whole family learned a lot, and the people on the farm were super awesome. And I mean, fact is, that's just how you got your meat for most people for a long time. It's only really recently that supermarkets like this are a thing. So I think it's kind of cool to be in touch with like the reality of how to eat an animal and like where it comes from. So it was a pretty cool thing. Not for everybody, but I thought it was really educational.
I thought I was going to win the prize for the most traumatic story on the podcast this week, and you really just swept it out from under me.
Oh, no. Are you traumatized right now?
See, this is why we should maybe think about doing video podcasting, because if you could have seen the look on my face the entire time you were describing that process, and whenever you were talking about the fucking yolks inside the chicken, like, is it just like a utility belt that a chicken comes equipped with? And all the yolks, like, what the hell is going on here? It's so gross.
My God, that's totally what I thought it looked like, dude. Like, it was just, I got to say, that was the most, like, I was thunderstruck when I saw that. I was like, it never even occurred to me in a million years that was how chickens were equipped at all. Like, I just didn't even, none of that had ever been a possibility in my mind, you know? But, like, I guess chickens are just, like, way more alien than you think they are. So that was really fucking strange, dude. Really strange.
That story was gross.
Homeschooled.
I mean, I never learned that in school, and I was not homeschooled, so I guess power to you for really stepping outside of the bounds of the American education system.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, this was like 10,000 times above like cutting up a frog in biology class or anything. This was like,
I did.
This was hard. This was hardcore shit. Did you cut up a frog in school?
I did. In my biology class, I think it was biology, and I know it was high school. I can't remember like if it was junior, sophomore, or senior year. I don't remember if I had to cut it up myself, but I remember there being an exam at the end of the year where there was like several, like at all the workstations, there were like frogs, like just dead frogs cut open in different positions, and our biology teacher had like kind of like flagged pins in different parts of them, and we had to go around and like identify what each pin was stuck in on our like exam sheet. I can't remember if I cut one open myself though. I had to have. I just can't. Maybe it was just so traumatic.
Not necessarily. Well, I did the exact same thing when I was in school, and I didn't cut one open. I just, like, we had, like, one per table, I guess, because, you know, the frog funding just wasn't there when I was in high school. And I think, you know, like, the jock at our table cut it open to be all macho, and then I think we all just, yeah, of course, and we all just, like, looked over his shoulder, and then, you know, whatever, copied each other's answers, and then we, like, left. I mean, it was, like, no big deal. Like, I didn't really, like, learn anything, and I didn't learn anything I couldn't have learned from a biology booklet. I mean, So I think like doing something like this is like way more hardcore than what we did in biology class. So I mean, and I feel like it was really worthwhile. I don't know that I would want to like butcher my own chicken every day, but like, I mean, hearing these people talk, they were like, we cut up all our meat and stuff, and we have cows, and we butcher our own cows, and they're like, oh, if you think this is hardcore, when you butcher a cow, that's on a whole other level. And I'm like, oh man, I'm not ready for that yet. But they were going to do their goats later that day, and they were also going to do rabbits, like I think next week. So they had all sorts of shit going on, dude. And they were like walking the talk, man. These guys were fucking capital F farmers, dude. They were hardcore.
So now whenever the United States inevitably gets nuclear bombed, you're like one step closer to being able to like really care for yourself out in the world when there's no like stores open or anything, right?
I mean, the thought did cross my mind, honestly. I'm like, if we're out on the wasteland and I come across a chicken, we're fucking set. I can butcher that thing. I'll butcher that mutant chicken, and I'll have like 16 drumsticks off it, and we're going to be good. We're going to be real good. So
it's just going to be, the whole chicken is just going to be one yolk, the whole thing. Like,
ugh, gross. A yolk with feet and like a big mouth on it. That'd be gross.
Oh my God. Okay, we've got to stop talking about this.
All right, dude. I'm looking at the clock. I think we're probably wrapping up on Banter, unless you got anything you want to slide in at the tail end here.
Not anything other than trying to imagine a giant yolk mutant chicken. That's it.
All right. I say it's probably time to talk about some games. What say you?
Oh, I could not agree more.
All right. Let's talk about some games.